have it so they can say they have. I don't know. I fucked this up. Hey, everybody. Yankee here. No, that's not right. Maybe it's that me up. That bong. God damn it. And it's fucking Jason Thompson. Officer Tater Hater. Oh, I'm going to punch him in the nose. You're going to go on my Heasley list. It's big. It's bulky. It's horribly. I burped right as I'm fucking saying that. God damn. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Shooting with Yankee. As always, I'm Yankee, so let's start shooting. Today's topic is, what is a gun that you consider to just be a novelty? You know, some people might think it's a great gun. It might even be a really expensive gun or a popular gun, but you think it doesn't really serve a purpose for one reason or another. Maybe it's unreliable. Maybe it's too expensive. Maybe it's too small. Maybe it's too big. You know, all kinds of reasons that a gun cannot really serve any legitimate purpose, but people still buy it anyway, mostly just to say they have one. And today I will start us off, and I will say there's all kinds of guns that fit this category. Guns that are too expensive, you know, that don't do anything more than a gun that's cheaper do, you know, like high-end custom 1911s. They're not practical. I think they're novelties. But I think the biggest answer to this question is not something like, you know, a 45-70 revolver. That's kind of impractical too. Nobody wants to shoot it. But I think the most popular one and the biggest success as far as a novelty gun in the market where people think it's actually a decent gun is the Desert Eagle. Those things are horrible. They're huge. They're not all that well made. They weigh a ton. They got sharp edges all over them. They're too big to be practical for anything, and they're unreliable on top of it. One of the most unreliable guns. It's just a big, bulky, sharp, ugly, unreliable gun. But some people just love them, swear by them. I think they're just a novelty. A lot of people see them in movies and TV shows, and they think, I got to have me one of those if I want to be as cool as that character who's doing backflips, you know, with while double wielding Desert Eagles, even though they only weigh like 93 pounds. That's why it really got popular, because it was so big in the movies. Whenever they want to show someone is just overkill with their gun, that they mean business, for some reason they give them a Desert Eagle. To me, that just makes it seem like they don't know anything about guns, because they don't know those probably ain't gonna work. You know, someone gave Deadpool one. Someone gave What's-Her-Face in Charlie's Angels some. She gave her two of them, actually. So that's my answer, the Desert Eagle. It's the biggest joke ever pulled on the gun community for people who think that gun is actually useful for something. It isn't. It's just a novelty. So that's my answer. Let's go over and see what everybody else has got to say over here. Heavy J said, High Point C9S. I bought one for the memes. I don't know. I think high points do serve a purpose. I think there's some people that either don't have the money or don't want to spend the money on a gun, but they want something that'll work. Like, let's say someone breaks up with their boyfriend and she's like, he's threatening me. I need to have a gun for self-defense. I don't like guns. It's not something I want to have forever. I just need it for now and maybe put it in a drawer. You know, a high point fits that bill because it'll work. It'll just be ugly. So I think there are purposes for high points, but I could see where someone might say that. I'll let it slide. Daniel Mann said Desert Eagle, or like, just like I said, I almost said Desert Eagle because I never can remember which one's desert, which one's dessert. I got to always remember dessert has two S's, so it got fat. So it got so fat, there's two S's. It's a wider word. That's what how I have to remember it. It's one of those words I just have a hard time remembering. Separately, too. Separately, I have trouble spelling that right, even though I've spelled it 1,000 times in my life. I can spell restaurant. A lot of people can't spell that, but I've owned a couple, so I learned how to spell that. Well, those. That was Daniel Mann, by the way. And Practical Bacon chimed in and said, mouse guns, revolvers bigger than 44 mag, old military surplus rifles, and Glocks. Well, I don't know if I agree with the last two things, but yes, those great big giant, like a 460 or 500 Magnum revolver, just get a rifle. I mean, they weigh about the same, so just get a rifle. And mouse guns, I love mouse guns. I think some of them serve a purpose. Some don't know. Like little NEAs, they're mostly just a novelty. the little revolvers. Train Spa, haven't seen them in a long time, said Lago Alien. That one's a little pricey. What's it going to do that's so special? I mean, maybe if you're shooting competition or something, but even then, what's it going to do so special? Makes it worth what, $6,000 or something like that? Yeah, no, thank you. I ain't that stupid. I'm pretty stupid when it comes to guns, and I do make bad decisions. You know, people see my gun collection, they think, oh, that guy's wealthy. It's like, no, I'm just financially irresponsible. This is why I don't have a big savings account, and why I haven't, become financially independent from everything yet. But it's why my kids won't probably go to college. They will, but I don't know if they'll graduate. Gummy Wuzzle says the L85A1, apologies to the Brits, I want one. I'm not really sure. I think I know what that is, but I'm not 100% certain. If I had time, I'd look it up, but I'm short on time because it took us a while to get started today because of Officer Tater Hater. Johnny Mandrick says the Taurus Judge. I go back and forth on that. I think those guns are somewhat practical, but I think people have really high expectations for them that they don't live up to. So, I mean, I can see that. I can see it. Mr. Furley is another vote for the Desert Eagle 50 AE. Yes. And even the other calibers. I've got a 357 mag one. It's still a novelty. So there's another one that agrees with me. Edgar Cortez said finish Milsurp. M39 Mosin, very historic and nostalgic, but not practical. But it's easy to look at. Pretty. Some guns are just pretty, and that's all that they have to be. Is they just have to be pretty. I mean, you're not going to be using your Mosin, on the city bus for self-defense or nothing. So it can be okay to be just pretty. Mikey D said SIG P365. Well, I don't get that at all. I think those are very practical guns. Easy to carry, decent firepower. I mean, I don't get that one at all. I think that just bias against 9mm show, which, that's fine. I'm okay with the bias against 9mm. Dino Martini 59 says, I love it and want one, but the Chris Vector. Yes, those things are horrible. I haven't even thought about one in years. Do they still make them? Is there still a market for them? I remember I went to SHOT Show one year and I walked into their booth and they're like, hey, Yankee, when are you going to get one of our guns and do a review on it? And I think they were going to say, we'll loan you one so you can do it. And I was like, as soon as I lose my fucking mind because those things are horrible. I said something to that effect. It's been a long time now. I don't remember. But it wasn't flattering and it shut them up pretty quick. Dale Rickety chimed in and said, Remington XP100 bolt action pistol, but I want one. Yes, those are a little dangerous looking. They look like they might hurt a little. Oh, Boss Hug says the Whitney Wolverine. I will say it's probably not the most practical gun. But I want one. I think they're a very cool looking gun. Don't they look like something out of She Demons from Mars, and they got those guns, it's like some old sci-fi movie. I want one. Mark Lack said something stupid. He said gold-plated firearms, i.e. gold Colt Python. Ha ha. No, that's awesome. That's the most awesome gun in the world, probably. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to him for that. Evan James said any Desert Eagle. Yes, I agree. Any Desert Eagle. Not just the 50 AE, especially the 50 AE, but any Desert Eagle. They're just a gas-driven pistol that's as heavy as a truck. What's the point? Felice Janice says Thompson, 1927 A1 Chicago typewriter. I kind of like them, but they're probably not real practical, no. But they're one of those things people buy just to say they got them. I would like to be able to say I got one. I don't got one. P-Gar says Kel-Tec KSG is my favorite novelty gag gift firearm. Wow, I would take one as a gag gift, but yeah, I agree. They're junk. They're just novelties because they're junk. It's cool the way they do the rotating, chambers and all that stuff. It's kind of cool, but I went through like 20 of them, couldn't find one that was worth buying. And that was back when you could buy them at the MSRP and resell them for 3 times as much on Gunbroker. I could have went over and bought all 20. Because I asked them, I said, do I get first crack at this? And they're like, yeah, come on over and you'll get first crack. And I'm like, how many of these can I buy? And they're like, you buy all of them if you want. And I went through every one of them, couldn't find one that was worth a shit. I wouldn't resell it to anybody. And I wasn't going to buy them to resell them anyway. I was going to try to find one good one for me. But I was like, yeah, I wouldn't take one of these for me. And I wouldn't resell any of these to anyone. So someone else can do that, not me. Next topic, how easy is it to distract Yankee? It's very hard. I'm a very professional person. I've been doing this for a while. Sean Bain said, anything made by Keltec. They're novelties. They're junk. I guess you consider junk a novelty. John Mandrick said the Yeet cannon. Yes, the Yeet cannon from High Point. That would have been a novelty gun. It wasn't any better than the other ones. It was just cooler and said Yeet cannon on it. I want one still of the actual Yeet cannon. Not the one they just slapped the word Yeet cannon on guns. Didn't do any of the upgrades. John Mandrick said Yeet gun again. I think it just doubled his thing. It does that sometimes. Robert Lush. Life cards are fun, but complete novelties. Yeah, I don't know if they're good for much of anything. It's like those little, what's those little one-shot Voltor or whatever it is? Same thing. I don't know if they really serve much purpose. They're novelties. Gummy Wuzzle said Korth. Oh, jerk. EAA Bullpup. I'm not real sure about the EAA Bullpup. I don't know what that really is. But unless he means the Bond Arms Bullpup, like the little pistol I have. And that gun's awesome. Ish. But Korths are very expensive. Yeah. If you're buying them to have for them to be practical, just get a Colt. Google. I haven't seen him in a little few days. HK Mark 23. HK Mark 23. And we got one more person chiming in here. Gummy Wuzzle says, Wildy Survivor in 45 Win Mag. I would like to have one of those too, even though it is, like I said, a novelty. I would still kind of like to have one. But that's it for today, everyone. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for weighing in here. As for everybody else out there in YouTube land, what do you think? What's a gun that you think is just a novelty, doesn't really serve a purpose, even if it's expensive, if other people love it, whatever, you just think this gun is just for show? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you want to weigh in on one of these topics in person, come to our live chats. We do them every day at 6 p.m. except for Wednesdays when we do them at 7. So come on in, weigh in person, and then stick around for the after chat and talk about whatever you want to talk about. We'll be moving on to that chat here in just a second. But first, I want to say thanks to everyone who participated today. And thanks to everyone out there watching. I hope to see you all again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.